I'm Jess and this is Petra and we're the Up in the Park team, and it's so lovely to see so many familiar faces out here. Thanks for having us. A little history of the art, which I won't spend too much time on, as I'm sure you guys are all aware. I'll just quickly, that's our project area, so that's Te Hunga Road there, Piha Road there, and then we've got run all the way along Senate Drive, and so that's 2,270 hectares, which is a pretty big area to cover, as our volunteers will know who've marched up and down it. And yeah, quick history is the project was initially started by John, who is fortunately there, along with some others, and was initially a Waitakere branch project, and we're super grateful for the support the branch has given the project. And across the time we've had some pretty cool translations, including Pokako and North Island robins, and as they come, as the birds have flown elsewhere, the project's kind of expanded alongside that. And then in 2025, an external review happened of the project, which has seen a few changes, particularly to our baiting regime. And so as you can see here, this is our average yearly tracking index of rats, and you can see initially those numbers just came absolutely down and were maintained at really low levels, but then over time we began to see those numbers creeping up, and at the same time we also saw a decline in our kōkako population, unfortunately. So now we're really looking to turn those numbers around and head back up in the right direction.
So I'm going to cover some of our baiting we've been doing this year. So during the review, they basically told us we should switch from using brodifacorm and try out these Ratabait day-face non-strikers. So they are a first generation anticoagulant, which means they're less persistent in the environment. They have lower secondary kills, breaks down quickly, and it's short half-life, and they're super palatable for rats, and they just get stapled onto a tree, so the rats don't have to go inside the bait stations to get them. They just climb up the tree. So these are the areas that we pulsed in September to December. So these are the areas that we mostly find kōkako. So this was our first pulse, and then our second pulse, and then we did a targeted pulse again in areas where we have breeding pairs. You can see we placed almost 30,000 strikers and almost 4,500 bait stations were baited, and 877 volunteer hours went into baiting these. And this is our uptake. So you can see in the first uptake, so that's after it's been out for about 3 days, about a quarter of them were all eaten, completely gone. And then that increases up to almost 40% across all the blocks in that second uptake after they've been out for like 6 days. So the rats were definitely finding it and smelling it. Then we had some leftover strikers because we overordered. So we decided to do these top parts where we had super high rat numbers, and there's also some robins in there. So that's a good thing to try and protect as well. And then we've started using bromadiolene in our northern blocks now, testing out the bait stations and seeing how that's working. So this is bromadiolene. It goes inside of the bait stations in its little blocks, and we use a wire to keep it intact so possums can't pull it out, or a rat can't take the whole block and go and hide it somewhere. It's a second generation, so it's similar to brodifacorm. They only need to eat it once and then they will die. It's a good knockdown tool, and we have baited almost 900 bait stations, which is quite a lot. And you can see here, there's a rat.
Anyway, I'm sure
the rat,
you can imagine.
here the rat has a big nibble on the bait, which is what we wanted to see. But it's looking like it's kind of depending on where the bait station is placed, as if rats are kind of wanting to go in. So yeah, we've also got some trail cameras that we're using to have a look at it.
Are you meaning that sometimes the bait station is too high or too wobbly? Or
Yes, yeah, a little bit of both. So we've had some contractors out and out of sync.
And one of the cool things about trail cameras, which is something we'll be getting more of at the Arc, is it's a great way, like accessible volunteering. We're going to need lots of people to review the footage from the comfort of your own home. So if that's something you're interested in, you can flip us a message. You won't even have to get outdoors and get wet.
Yeah, even like an hour just looking through images and telling us what you find. Yeah. So this shows our rat tracking results. These are from tracking tunnels. So this was after our diphacinone, the ratabate, the strikers on the tree. And you can see it's the two areas that we've pulsed have dropped from 50 to 60% all the way down to below 5%, which is a pretty outstanding result over such a large area. You can see that outside of the arc it's still sitting at about 85%. And then this is with the bromadiolene, so the other bait in the bait stations. So you can see in the two pulse blocks we have had a decrease, which is nice to see. It's not as sudden, but it is something. So we're going to next do these two blocks, B and P, which are right in the northern part of the arc. They've had all their bait stations fixed properly, so they're all stable, and hopefully we might see a better uptake. Yeah. And this is another, so rat monitoring is one of our main things that we do after and before every pulse. It's a great thing that you can come out and volunteer at the Arc to do. You go out and you pop out some bait cards with peanut butter and then collect them in the next day. It's really interesting to see like what animals you've got on your cards. We've had a lot of insects recently because the rat numbers have dropped. So that's what we're looking to see. Yeah.
Perfect. And then so alongside our baiting, we also do trapping, which goes year round, and we've got some pretty awesome trappers here, which is great to see. Across the Arc, we've got over 530 traps out there currently, covering a whole wide range of areas, which is super awesome. And last year we caught 466 rats through trapping alone, with a big concentration around the golf course. And then also we see lots of incursions down near the Anaphota area, so it's super valuable data. And alongside that, we've obviously caught hedgehogs, possums, mouse, all sorts there. And we've just put in an order, had 282.20 traps arrive, which is pretty phenomenal. And so is a self-receiving trap, which means we can put it in more remote areas of the Arc and it doesn't need to be checked so frequently. It's perfect for targeting tree climbers. And we're going to need lots of hands on deck to make this a success, so we'd love to have you involved. Trapping is a great way. Some people trap in pairs, some people trap by themselves. It's a great option if you like a bit of routine of knowing I'm going to go out once a month on the first Saturday or vice versa. So yeah, super keen to have more people involved if that's something you're into.
And Kokako, so this is our kind of target species that we're trying to protect primarily. So we have, this was from the 2025 census. We have 8 pairs, which are the red polygons. So you can see they're kind of all around near kind of Piha Road up to Dam Road is the area. And we've got 11 territorial singles. This is a 50% decline in pairs since 2022. So we are losing them, but hopefully with our rat tracking being low now, this last breeding season and follow-on breeding seasons will do well. And we've also got that high ratio of single to paired kokako. That's because the females often get predated on the nest when they're sitting on their eggs or chicks, which is really sad. We did, however, find 2 nests this year. I was lucky enough that I found them, which is very exciting. And you can see this is a photo of 2 of the little chicks in one of the nests. These chicks we actually banded. Unfortunately, both the nests did fail when the chicks were kind of in the late stage. So it's looking like they were possibly stoats or hawks. We're not sure what. Something we'll look to do in the next season is put trail cameras up on the nests. So if anybody wants to look at nice kokako chicks and see what might be coming to eat them or not, that's another opportunity that you could do. Also, we have opportunities for you to come out and do kokako census or nest finding and nest monitoring. So nest monitoring, you can just sit and watch the nest and watch the kokako parents come and feed the chicks, which is pretty cute to do. The other thing we also do is seedful collection. So that is done once every 2 months, and it's these big funnels that all the seeds fall in over the 2 months, and then we collect them and we send them off to DOC and they do analysis, and then we get the results back, and it helps us Or it helps them understand if there's going to be a mask season and how climate influences that, which is quite interesting.
Perfect. And then some future plans for the art is obviously we've got lots on our plate, but one of those things is enhancing our predator control, which we mentioned with our trapping and baiting, and then bolstering our pukako population and continuing to work with other pukako recovery groups. We're also keen to increase volunteer engagement and form better partnerships, so we're always open to ideas there, and hopefully all of this work will help us and see improved biodiversity, such as future translocations and more in-depth species monitoring across a wide range of our species. If you're keen to get involved, scan that and that gets you all signed up. But other than that, we're open to questions if anyone's got any.
A lot of people don't know you're new to the art. Could you each give a little brief bio of what you've done and how you've come to us, what you've done before?
Sure. So I studied zoology and marine science and wildlife management in Dunedin, and then I worked for another forest and bird project down in the Catlins doing rifleman and fern bird nest finding and nest monitoring. And then I worked for DOC for about a year, predator control in Twizel and doing nest finding for orange-fronted kakariki. And then I've travelled in between that overseas, and then I spent 6 months as a tour guide in Franz Josef, and then I came up here and I've been up here for just over 6 months. So I grew up down in Queenstown.
Kia ora, I'm Jess. I grew up in Karitari Beach and have been really fortunate to live there all my life, so pretty connected with the area. And then I now live in Piha, which is, just a stone's throw away, it's pretty spectacular, getting to drive pretty much the border of the arc every morning. A few windy roads with some cyclists. I got a master's in environmental management and also studied psychology and communications, and I really am so fortunate for this role, and it's a great way to tie in people and nature and bring it all together, which has been really awesome. I've got quite a strong background in surf life saving as well, and am super involved in like search and rescue stuff, and so always open to questions about health and safety and all this less glamorous parts of the job as well. Any other questions? Yeah?
Can you just tell us about the relationship with the golf course, with a lot of food and rats and what's happening there with the Rangers pad?
So I think the Auckland Council is going through a review currently on the ownership of that golf course and like what's happening there. We don't really have much to do with it. We have traps that surround the golf course. And we bait around the golf course, but we don't do anything on the golf course.
But in the golf course, how are they inside the golf course in terms of trapping and
Who the people?
in the golf, the people who run the golf course?
So our traps pretty much go all the way around the.
Do they help?
Do they help? I don't think the staff necessarily do, but obviously there's an opportunity there. We occasionally will have golfers that will stumble into our office a little bit confused, and we'll try to encourage them. And I know one thing that the council is working to tackle is like bringing dogs into the golf course and addressing some of those. But yeah, the other thing is lots of rabbits naturally with a golf course, which means more aerial predators and stuff. So it is a bit of a challenge, but we are doing our best to kind of manage it. But a lot of that relies on Auckland Council. Any other questions?
Yeah, I just so noticed in the trap line pictures that you had in there were some holes. So one of them is the golf course, or
You go back. There.
no, this one. Yeah.
So there, the golf course is there.
Okay. What's
And
the bulge above it? What's that?
That's also the golf course.
And then the one in the centre.
This is the dam.
Yeah.
So
I was
we
wondering,
don't.
is because it initially looked like it's inaccessible or like
No,
nobody's-
it's very accessible, but we wouldn't be able to put the bait stations on anything
Yeah.
because it's just grass, and it would create lots of obstacles for the golfers.
Extra points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you hit something like
Good question.
There is bait stations in some of the gullies then.
There is, yeah.
And
Yeah.
wherever there's bush, there's pretty much bait stations and traps. It's just obviously the playing
On the
fields
grass,
a little
yeah.
bit.
I don't think you can have too many rats on that open grass.
I might get taken out by a stray golf ball.
No more questions?
Yep.
Thank you, Jess.
Thank you.